Hey there, my name's Bags, and in this tutorial I'm going to teach you a trick that I call the Whip Whap Wiggle Walk, which looks like this. Right, before we can learn a full Whip Whap Wiggle Walk, we're going to have to learn a Whip Whap Wiggle, which looks like this. And it involves us hitting inside and outside the hoop with both arms simultaneously, and hitting the hoop backwards and forwards. So before we can learn this movement, we need to learn what our arms are doing without the hoop. So without the hoop it looks like this. So to do this, take one hand and put it in front of you like this, and then place your other hand with the palm facing the same way, like this. And then we're just going to turn both palms over so they're facing the other way. And then we're going to take this more into a bouncing movement. So we're turning both hands over at the same time. Now in Tai Chi, this move is called a dribble drabble. That's not true, I just made it up. Now we're going to try that movement with the hoop. We're going to spin the hoop round to the left. Now as you move the hoop to the left, your left hand is going to be outside the hoop and your right hand is going to come in and grab the hoop on the inside, like that. So it's just like what we were doing without the hoop, but now we're getting the hoop involved. We're spinning the hoop to the left, left hand's outside, right hand inside. Bam! Then we're going to spin it to the right, our right hand's going to be outside and our left hand's going to be inside. Bam! So practice just throwing the hoop from side to side with one hand grabbing it inside and one hand grabbing it outside. And these catches happen at exactly the same time, like that. Now we're going to try those movements, but instead of catching it with our hand, we're going to hit it using our forearm. So that looks like this. Now you might find this move easier if you do a little bit of a bounce at the same time. If you don't do this bounce, the hoop has a tendency to drop down a bit, like this. So to stop that happening, we can do a little bit of a bounce, which just brings us under the hoop slightly and stops the hoop from dropping down, like that. So that's how to do a Whip Whap Wiggle. Now we're going to turn it into a Whip Whap Wiggle Walk. To do a Whip Whap Wiggle Walk, we're going to have to step at the same time as we whip whap, which looks like this. So to do this, we're just going to take one step at a time, and the leg that we're stepping with is the same one as the arm that's outside the hoop. So if I'm doing my Whip Whap Wiggle, like this, when it gets to my right arm being outside the hoop, I'm going to step forward with my right leg. And follow that up with my left leg straight after. This is quite difficult and might take a bit of practice. Another important aspect of the Whip Whap Wiggle Walk is your facial expression. If there's someone else in the room, you want to stare deep into their eyes and adopt an expression that's best described as smouldering. I'll demonstrate. You might want to practice smouldering in the mirror separately. I'm doing this trick with a light polypro hoop of 5/8 inch diameter. It is possible to do this trick with a thicker irrigation tubing hoops, however it hurts your arms more, whereas these light hoops have more flexibility so they don't cause quite such an impact on your forearm. Another variation of the Whip Whap Wiggle is the Whip Whap Whip Whap Whip Whap Wiggle, which looks like this. Now there's a trick similar to the Whip Whap Wiggle Walk called the Rip Rap Riggle Run, which looks like this. This trick is considerably more difficult than the Whip Whap Wiggle Walk, which is why we have a saying here amongst Bristol Hoopers, which goes like this: don't try to learn to Rip Rap Riggle Run before you can Whip Whap Wiggle Walk. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. If you have any questions, please post a comment underneath the video and I'll try and answer them. My name's Bags, thanks for watching.